Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kehkashan. I am 15 years old and I am the NGO CSD's Youth Advisor on Climate Change. I am also the founder president of my own youth organization called Green Hope. I am connecting with you from my home in Dubai and at the outset would like to thank the NGO Committee on Sustainable Development for giving me the privilege of participating in this conference and to share my work and aspirations. I live in a region which is surrounded by some of the fiercest deserts of the world, and we face the impacts of climate change at its harshest every day. The weather is our greatest adversary, and thus we need to adapt our daily lifestyles to combat it. Water is our most precious resource, in some ways more precious than oil. Thus, water conservation, fighting land degradation, and adapting our lifestyles to be more sustainable are three aspects on which I endeavor to engage civil society, especially young girls. The Global Fraternity has now defined its vision for a post-2015 development agenda by agreeing upon an ambitious set of 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I was privileged to be in New York as one of the 193 youth to attend this historic session of the Sustainable Development Summit, where these 17 goals were formally adopted. In a few weeks from now, under the auspices of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, these same governments will ink a new universal agreement in December 2015 in Paris at the Climate Change Conference to both address the threat of climate change and deliver on the opportunity of combating it. These two pathways, though coming from two different backgrounds and having their own dynamics and challenges, must be mutually supportive and interrelated. As a 15-year-old, I am deeply concerned at the escalating rate of environmental degradation precipitated by climate change. We are the future generations, and I feel that the onus is upon us to take actions at grassroots levels and to mitigate climate change. We must all take necessary steps to restrict global warming below 2 degrees Celsius. A warming climate will impact the availability of fresh water, food security, and energy, amongst other necessities. There is no doubt in my mind that climate change and development goals cannot be pursued separately. My youth organization, Green Hope, is therefore working to build a movement wherein we engage, educate, and empower young people to take actions to mitigate climate change. Our work focuses on creating awareness through our environmental academies, workshops, and conferences through which we are reaching out to young people of our region. Our organization is run by youth for youth because we feel that the message is conveyed seamlessly when peers talk to each other. Since July this year, we have been conducting environmental academies every 4 weeks. These academies are tailor-made workshops varying from 2-hour sessions to full-day events, targeting students from schools all across the country and the region. We teach the participants to calculate their carbon footprint, means of stopping land degradation, understanding the concepts of sustainable consumption and production, climate change impacts, biodiversity conservation, and the need for climate justice. Tree planting is an integral part of all our academies as we feel that it is the simplest yet most effective way of combating climate change and reducing our carbon footprint. It is also very relevant to the region we live in since deserts surround us. To date, we have planted over 3,000 trees. Art, drama, music, and dance are some of the mediums we use to engage youth. At our next conference, we will be enacting a play called The Tree of Hope to convey the impacts of climate change. The protagonist of this play is a young girl, Kadra, who motivates the people of her village to mitigate climate change by planting trees. We plan to hold 2 more workshops in the coming 4 weeks as our engagement activity reaches a climax before the Paris Summit. I believe that the Paris Climate Change Conference will prove to be a historic one in the same way as the post-2015 summit and will build on the current momentum. After the Paris Summit, we intend to take our work to another level by engaging a wider spectrum of civil society and also lobby policymakers at a local and regional level to act on the Paris outcomes. The time for half measures is over. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals have given us the framework to take action. Our generation is often referred to as the connected generation, and we need to work to develop and build partnerships at all levels to ensure that we stop climate change before it changes our future irrevocably. Thank you.